I just want to address one video. I'm not going to post it, but I feel like people can relate. So there's this online video of a man of God that I really respect so much. And this is not to attack, because I honor and I respect men. So disclaimer, I honor and I respect my men of God and all of that. But there's this particular video from a man of God that I really respect so much. That he talks about like that he's so grateful his wife didn't put him under pressure, that she just accepted him the way he is, and he just like he's so grateful for that he can't even imagine if he was put under pressure and all those kind of things. One thing I just want to share, and I know I say this with utmost respect and love, is that everybody's not the same. Everybody's not the same. And I feel like women are not putting pressure on the men. I feel like women just want men to commit to their vision. So if you're a man and you have a vision, you have a goal, the pressure is not even a thing. And I'm saying this because I've actually been able to interact with different kinds of men, and just like the way like I wouldn't conclude that every man is the same thing, there should not also be the conclusion that every woman is the same thing. Because if a woman is showing concern about our future, I think it should not be looked down on. And one thing that I took some time to kind of like observe, integrate, and also discern the wife. And I realized that there was some sort of safety. There was some sort of safety. And that's the reason why she just like, I like this guy, let him just grow. But there was some sort of safety. There are some women that don't have that. There are some women that is their concern, because all their life they've had to be their own safety. So if a woman is coming in and saying, you know what, commit to your vision and, work on it. I don't even have to be in the picture for it to happen. You're doing it for yourself. This is something that God has actually placed on your life, right? So commit to your vision, work towards it. There are many men that are so committed. I have like friends that will be like, you know what, I took 3 years to just focus and do what God has asked me to do without any interaction from any woman or whatsoever. I know that there are some men that needs women, to encourage them, to push them, to do all those stuff. But there are some men that don't need that. They're committed, they work on it, they get it done, they bring the woman in and they grow. There are some that would need a woman to push. So I've come to understand that there are different kinds of men, and that's why I knew that men are formatted by their mindset. But it should not be agreed on that you cannot understand the pressure if they had to put you under pressure. The truth is that the wife had some sort of safety in terms of our own family. A woman cannot thrive when there is no safety. That is just the truth. We're wired in such a way that we tend to be, we cannot, evolve completely and authentically and be our ultimate self if we're put in an environment that we don't foresee safety. So if you come online and you come on stage and you're saying that, oh, you know what, you cannot imagine the pressure that men are going this day because your wife, which has a safety, which could rely on our own family, didn't put you under pressure but allowed your vision to grow, I feel like you should also make a notion of the entirety of the circumstances that surround that decision. That is my point of view. Because, and that's why all this is actually a choice, right? That is my own point of view. Like, you should describe the whole circumstances that she had, what a background that she was safe. She had her people, she had her support. So that those people that feels like, and I feel like it's not pressure, because real men stand up to pressure. I'm telling you the facts. Men thrive with challenge. They're hunters. They're like territory dominators. So a real man will not see that as a pressure. And I feel like, first of all, it's the wrong notion of saying that women put the men on pressure. I feel like that's a wrong notion. And one thing I've come to understand is that it's okay for you to actually speak out as a woman and say, oh, I'm worried about certain things. And those worries are actually valid because women are kind of prophetic in nature. So when a woman comes and say, oh, I'm skeptical about this and this and this, you should be paying attention. You shouldn't see it as a pressure that, oh, they're putting people under pressure. You should see it as, oh, I'm being challenged to do and to work on my vision for my entire family and generation. That is the truth. Let me say, that's exactly what women are mostly concerned about. And I'm sure if I even investigate further, there were some times where she actually did speak to you about those things, because you talked about, oh, you didn't have such amount of money. So for you to remember, there were times where there was conversation that came about. But I'm not saying that, we should be putting men under pressure. The notion about this video is, one, it is not a pressure. It is, please commit to your goal, because as a woman, we're prophetic. We've seen ahead. We're like, okay, how do we build this family? If you're not putting in the work right now to make sure that we have that secured future, that's how women think. So the term pressure is actually being used wrongly. It's actually being used wrongly. That's one. Two, what's it two? Two, don't always, we shouldn't be coming to generalize, because say, oh, I can't imagine if my wife did that. That's just your wife, which has some sort of security. Most women have been able to build their own life outside of no security and being their own safe space. They have their structure, they have their future planned out, they are working towards it, because they've seen and they've experienced, right? And I know that people have to heal, okay? And so they are concerned that with what the level of work that I've put in, that I've, been able to put my life and do all this, they have to check that the man is also someone on the same drive. That's it. There's a women like that. So we shouldn't be generalizing and be saying that, you can't imagine if your wife did that. Congratulations, for your wife didn't put you under pressure. First of all, it's not pressure. Second of all, all women are not the same. And third of all, if we check deeply if we do the statistics, let the data, do the talking. If you check the statistics of men that really take out their time to focus on their vision and just put on that pressure and work on themselves, you don't even need a woman to do that in the first place, to be able to say, you know what, I will commit to what God has put in my hand at this time for this year, so that I can be in a better place, whereby my wife is just coming in to aid, to move on. It's not we're coming in to do that. You understand my point, right? That my wife is coming in to just aid the process, and while we flourish. If you do the statistics of men that do that, plus the ones that are like, she didn't put me under pressure, we're walking slowly, slow by slow, slow by slow, slow by slow, slow by slow. Outcome says that those ones get there faster and have a lovely, smooth marriage. Not the one that the wife has to be crying to God for strength. Yes. Come to me for that. That is true. If we do the investigation very well. So there's no pressure here. Nobody's putting any pressure on anybody. What we're saying is that men should come into the vision quickly and on time and do the work. Because the truth is, we have lazy men. That is the truth. And women are just tired about it. And so most of them are like, look, track records, put the pressure on because they're just tired. Being a woman's a lot. And I always say, sometimes when I hear men talk about this, I like to listen from the women perspective, like your wife. And that's what I've been doing. And it's been amazing, the observation and things that I've picked up, even from people that I respect. But I understand nobody's perfect. But we should be striving towards perfection because God expects that from all of us. So let's not be generalizing thoughts because everybody is different. Everybody is unique. Everybody have different background. Everybody have different level of stability, okay, as women. So if someone is concerned about the future, I think it's good to pay attention to it and not generalizing and making it like, oh, you know, it can't involve this, you know, there's some blessings that will be in marriage. Yes, there's a lot of blessings in marriage. There's some blessings you will never walk in until you're married. But that's the goal, right? We want to marry well, right? We want to choose the right partner. And so we want to ensure that our partners are committed to the vision. We want to be sure that our future is secured and we can chill and be the wife ready to carry out our holy duty and commit to the ministry of marriage. That's the goal. So it's not a pressure. I think human beings, we should be able to deal with pressure. It makes us who we are. Jesus dealt with pressure. Carried that cross. That was a lot. So let's not be generalizing and let's this is not a warfare. I'm not a feminist. I'm not someone that is against men. I don't hate men. I love men. I have feelings for men. You know, so I'm I'm not I'm not the other. I'm very straight, you know, like I desire such, but I've learned that I have to choose well. You know, I have to choose what I want, what I like, what I can be able to submit to. And for me, safety, and I'm sure for all women, safety and security is one very valid thing. And also sacrificial men, because sacrificial men don't see that as pressure. They would never see that as pressure. They see it as challenge that they have to overcome. You have to experience different kind of men in your life. You'll be shocked. And what I mean by experience is not like, you know, sleep around or something, but or date so many multiple men or stuff. Like, be able to put yourself out there in such a way that you're friends, you're observant with different kinds of men. And I would advise you that if you're a woman, and this is just from my own personal experience, you have to put yourself. If you're waiting for the man that you would attract, you mostly attract the kind of men that you don't want. I'm telling you, if you want to experience the kind of men that would change your mindset a bit, it's just my own little secret, that you change your mindset a bit. I'll be like, oh, these men actually did exist. Because God always tell me they do exist, but I've never met them. The ones I'm attracting are just like they make me go crazy, right? Because I don't want them. Because I see the pattern, right? Because we thought that, okay, let them come, let them come, let them come. Let them come, let them come, let them come. If you're waiting for them to come, you'll be getting the ones that you don't like. My deepest secret that I've actually found that if you want to go for those men that you've envisioned, that you've seen that your future would be in sync, you have to put yourself out there. Positioning is what they call it. You have to be able to position yourself out there. You have to make deliberate efforts. Led by the Spirit is my own go-to. Like the Spirit of God leading me to those kind of men is my own deepest, you know, secret. But the truth about it is, technically, you cannot be the one that you'll be waiting and be like, let them come, let them come. You'll be getting the ones that you are like, I beg. Let me just leave it now. Because something I've learned in this process is that there are some people, they're on their own journey. They're still going to get to that point, but you let them get to the point. Shut it go. So the secret I found out is that you have to be the one to put yourself out there and position yourself out there, and they will find you and come for you. But if you're sitting down saying whatever, all those combos, that is the ones, those ones that you are have to be thinking is the ones that will be coming to you. So I hope that helps. I hope that helps. So basically, so this video is just, I just saw that video and that thing kept coming to my mind. And I'm like, you know what? Like, I know, I understand, and I know that men are, they're doing their best, and it's good to always encourage that. One thing I've even learned in my journey is to pray for my spouse, because it's not easy to be a man. I've always said that their world is like, is crazy. Their men world is not like how women world are. So for them, they have to do 10 times more to prove themselves. So it's a lot. But the thing about it is they have the ability in them. God would not, he said, I will not suffer that which you can't bear. Even when Jesus felt he couldn't carry his cross, he was strengthened because he could do it. And he did. So that's the point. I feel like men, we shouldn't encourage men to be running away, because we won't be having men. That's what we've been doing. I'm telling you, that's what we've been doing. That's what our mothers have been doing. Training them that they have the freedom to do whatever they want to do. And that's the reason why we see them, the crimes and all of that in our society today. And there's not a lot of them that stand up to responsibility. And there's a cry of scarcity of men. It's the truth. That's what we've been doing. We've been babysitting them. We've been saying, don't put pressure, don't do this, don't that. Is the reason why. And even the man of God that said this thing, because this is a video that people can really relate very well. He's under pressure. At some point, he will be, because that's what brings out the oil. So let's be saying everything. Let's just say one part. Yes, believe in the vision that whoever it is that you want to be with for the rest of your life, but ensure that the person is committed to it for your own safety and security in the future. You'll thank me later for this advice. I'm telling you, you would. So don't put pressure, okay? Just encourage. And there are many ways to do that, because you cannot thrive as a woman if you are in a place that you don't feel safe. You're not sure about the future. You're concerned about so many things. The truth about it is you cannot not try. You can't bring out the best out of you if you're not secure. That's the truth. So that safety is very key. So yeah, so that's just my thought about it. I've just been wondering. I'm like, sometimes because of these people, we love them, we respect them, we're so blessed with their message and everything. There's some things that should not be generalized. That's just my own point of view about it. So yeah, okay, so that's it for this video. Hope that helps, and I'll see you all in the next session. Bye.